when you realize that your competition is automating, you kind of feel like you have to automate as well. So that's really the main point that we always try to bring up is when you say this is not the right time for you, maybe it is for your competition and you don't want them to be taking all of these market shares and these leads that could be yours if you had better processes.
Welcome back to the AI Edge podcast, where we talk to operators, founders, and capital partners who are using AI and smart systems to drive the real world deal flow into commercial real estate. Today's guest is building exactly that kind of infrastructure. Sasha is co-founder of CRO, or Next Automation, a company that installs done-for-you automation systems that turn outreach, onboarding, and reporting into compound growth engines for teams in real estate, marketing, manufacturing, e-commerce, SaaS, and more. This team has helped real estate firms doing over $100 million in deals a year, automating 90% of their deal flow, unify their CRM and communication stack, and turn manual follow-up into predictable AI-assisted pipeline. He's also leading AI consulting work for firms like Allure, Capital, and others, where they're shortening their response times, tightening underwriting processes, and building knowledge layers around the business. Sasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Awesome. Glad to have you here, man. So when someone asks you what you do on a daily basis, how do you answer that today?
It's always a funny question. AI is kind of everything at the same time. So I really like to say that I'm someone who plays with the new systems, the new technologies, and try to extract the value. We all know that AI is moving really fast. So I just do my best to keep up and see what is useful, what isn't, and try to implement the best tools out there.
Incredible. So you summed up your journey in one word: determined. How did that show up in your path from business school and early roles into starting Next Automation and focusing on AI for real estate?
Yeah, I went to business school, and like many entrepreneurs, the classes are not exactly what suits me best. I got good grades, but I thought this is not real experience, and I think you learn the best with hands-on experience. So I went to get an internship in a real estate firm, and that's when I realized, every process there is outdated and repetitive, and most of the time very manual. And so with the rise of ChatGPT on one side, where I saw in the news it's going to automate everything, and then on the other side that in this industry they're doing everything manually, I thought, okay, I might get interested in this. And so in the beginning, I was really just trying to automate any task in any industry. You said it. We did e-commerce, SaaS, and marketing, all of these. But I quickly came back to real estate and realized, yeah, it's an industry who historically invests a lot in innovation. They have the capital and they're very forward thinking. So I came back to it, and my business partner Lucas actually worked in a consulting company which audited real estate firms to identify bottlenecks and solve them with AI. But what they lacked, and that's what we really identified as the next step, and that's when we became determined to actually, implement these changes, is they do the auditing, they identify the bottlenecks, but they didn't have the capabilities to develop solutions for these real estate firms. And so that's when we came in and decided we have the capabilities to both do the auditing and then solve the problems we identify.
Incredible. Why don't we dive a little bit deeper into what are some of the ways that you're actually helping them automate? What are some of the different ways that you found that real estate firms really need?
It really depends. I think real estate is very broad, but to give you a simple example, the three main pillars that most companies in real estate rely on for lead generation is the acquisition. So how do they find the leads? What criteria do they use? And which directories are the leads listed on? Or how do you find them online? And then there's the conversion. So finding the right data and sending the right messages at the right time on the right platforms to make sure that these leads listen to you and really want to have a conversation with your brokerage about either investing, selling, buying properties. And then the last one is the retention part with better onboarding, follow-ups, nurturing, and recently a lot of content generation with AI. AI videos have gotten everywhere and we can see them a lot on the internet for comical purposes, but when you really apply them to these professional settings, you can make great things. So these are really the three main pillars where you can take any manual process that they have, use the tools that they already use, and just make it more efficient with the solutions that AI and other softwares can allow you to develop.
Incredible. What were one or two key moments when you realize, okay, automation plus real estate is where I want to bet my time?
And that's a great question. I remember exactly the first moment was when I read some stats in a news article which mentioned that, and this can apply across any industry, and it's the power of automation. It's that a follow up to a lead who comes into your website and fills out a form. If you take more than 5 minutes to answer to that lead, your chances of converting and closing the deal drop by 80%. So that means that if you have an automation that all it does is really take that message from the lead on your website and answers within 5 minutes, your chances of closing that lead and the deal that ensues go up by 500%. So that's really when I thought, okay, this is so simple, but so effective. And you can still see nowadays that on real estate websites and most websites in any industry, they take way longer than 5 minutes. I think there's still a long way to go. And the second one was another stat. I think it's JLL or might be McKinsey who say that up to 40% of the tasks performed every day by real estate agents can be automated with technologies that exist today. It's not in the future. That's what is incredible. It's 2025, you can already have 40% of your manual operations automated.
Incredible. Definitely, there's a huge need for all real estate, whether they be agents, brokers, CEOs, CFOs, COOs. Anything they're doing manually can be automated nowadays, right? And you said you can get up to like 90%, which is absolutely incredible, which is fantastic. So at Next Automation, what does your world look like day to day?
It's in the name, lots of automations. As I said, we like to tinker with the new tools. So we're always in the morning looking for what came out recently. Depending on when this comes out, Gemini and Opus 4.5 are the latest releases. There might be even crazier models in the future. And so the first thing in the morning is always looking at what came out, trying it out, seeing if it has potential. If it doesn't, then, in the beginning, we were doing the automations ourselves, handling the marketing, the sales. Now we're really focused on orchestrating the company. And internally, we have a lot of automations that facilitate this, of course. We wouldn't be who we are without automations, but we also really focus on the human side. So communicating with the team, we have a daily stand up to see how everything is going. Tons of client projects at the moment. Social media content has been doing really great. Tons of calls with, CEOs at great companies. And then, just handling any urgent task. And then the rest of the day is really spent on trying to close these deals, working on partnerships, potential funding soon as well. Lots of exciting stuff. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Will you share with us some of the tools that you're currently using that's really helping some of these companies?
Totally. So I think most of what we do really revolves around a couple of tools, and then there are others that gravitate around these that can be useful. But the one that I would say everyone has to learn how to use, even if you don't plan on being an expert in automations, you have to try out Zapier and Make.com. They are the simplest drag and drop, no code automation tools out there. A lot of people have heard about them and they feel afraid to try them out. They don't have a technical background. And my message is always, you can do great stuff. Just watch any tutorial on YouTube and you can get started. And once you see the world through the lens of automation, you realize you can really do great stuff out there. And then for more complex automations, I think Relevance and N8N are the two softwares that can really go deeper, have some code involved, so they are more technical. But once you get the hang, you realize it's still not this complicated, and they integrate with thousands of tools. So these are the automating softwares that we use. And then a great one that not many people surprisingly know, even in marketing and sales teams, is Clay. Clay is an enrichment tool which uses AI to look up information on your leads better than anything I've seen out there. So that's really the minimal tech stack if you want to just start closing more deals with automations.
Incredible. Love it. So, for someone in commercial real estate listening who has never heard of Next Automation before, what problems do you actually solve for them?
So I think there are two components in this, and we've been talking with lots of executives, but also operators, the day-to-day people working in the firms. And one of the main problems that comes back is I'm spending too much time doing the same stuff every day. It's really the repetitive tasks, and everyone has their own repetitive tasks that they have to do every day. It may be admin. If you're an executive, it might be admin. If you're an operator, it might be emails, copy pasting data from different sheets, scrolling on directories to try to find more information on properties, looking at MLS data. All of the tasks that I just enumerated, you can basically automate that 99%. And by the way, if you still want to have a human touch in this, you can absolutely tell the tool to ask for feedback and approval before sending any email or downloading any PDF.
Incredible. So, is it fair to say that you connect CRMs, inbox, forms, outreach, and content so that every lead is captured, qualified, and followed up automatically instead of relying manual work and scattered tools?
That's exactly it.
100%, right?
100%.
Awesome. For CRE firm doing, say, $100 million in deal volume, what does 90% automated deal flow actually look like in practice?
Absolutely. So let's take a simplified example for this, which is the one that I always like to give out. Let's say that you have an example workflow where leads can come through either social media automated content creation or your website or directly from the MLS if you connect it to these automations. Once they come in, you qualify them with an AI that checks them against some criteria. Maybe it's the budget, maybe it's the demographics, geolocation. Then you enrich the leads with the tool that I just mentioned, Clay, which finds the most relevant data on the internet with AI about these leads, these properties, these investors, and inputs it directly into any CRM that you're using. And then once the data is backed up in the CRM, you can connect it to outreach tools. So this can be traditionally mails and messages, but more recently with tools like Vapi, you can also do AI calls, which is a technology that I can't even believe exists. And all of this really just with the unique goal to close more deals. And what I just described can be automated 95% plus right now. And we're actually doing it for some of our clients.
Absolutely incredible. Yeah, that's a wealth of knowledge. I bet you so many people out there have never heard of half of these things that you're talking about, but that is the next generation, right? That is the next level of automation where if they're not if they're not taking advantage of some of these tools that you just described, they're wasting their time, right?
Totally. And I mean, we can quantify it. The statistics is that 40% of this time can be used for tasks with more leverage or simply getting back to the human connection. AI is all about automating the backbone of your business. You can go back to talking to more customers.
Excellent. Let's talk about next automation. Looking ahead over the next 6 to 12 months, what are two or three of your biggest goals that you're driving towards with next automation?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. The main thing that we've noticed is that across the real estate industry, but particularly, residential and commercial real estate, a lot of these workflows actually are always coming back throughout the clients that we talk to in different ways with their own set of tools and systems, but the underlying processes stay the same. And so this got us thinking, you know, we proud we're proud of saying we automate a large percentage of the work, but we end up doing very repetitive workflows for our clients and repeating the same automations. So the goal for the next 6 months is really to find a way to productize these automations and be more efficient in the delivery of the automations. When we've already worked on them, we know how they work, we know how they integrate with the tools. We're really trying to make progress on getting into the systems and getting the automations live faster. And then, of course, expanding to other sub niches in the real estate industry as we get to know more and more actors of the industry.
Incredible. Are you only focusing on real estate right now, or are you in other niches also?
Our main focus really is real estate, but we do have some partnerships with other marketing agencies. We do some white labeling fulfillment. Let's say you're a marketing agency and you're selling cold email sequences to your clients. Or maybe your clients one time ask you, "Hey, do you integrate AI into your emails?" You want to sound smart, so you say, "Yeah, for sure we do," but you actually don't know how to do it. Then you come to us and we just add the AI part, the AI magic, I like to say, to what you're already doing and providing for your clients. And we just do this part.
Incredible. As far as some of your other goals, is it around the number of clients you're trying to obtain, ARR, deeper penetration into commercial real estate, or upcoming funding around a product or milestones?
Totally. So there's 2 points that you mentioned here. The first one is really market penetration and really capturing the market shares because this is a growing market. AI is not going to stop here. Real estate is not going to stop here. I think it's predicted to grow at a annual compound rates of close to 33%. So these are some crazy numbers, and we're always trying to be more and more a part of it. So capturing more of the market is for sure one of the objectives. And then absolutely expanding, the teams and maybe capturing more verticals through potential funding. We're in talks with some investors and we have some presentations lined up. It's always interesting to see also what they have to say about the industry and how these people who meet hundreds of startups and most of them are in AI, how they see AI for real estate. So it's always an interesting conversation.
That's amazing. So, why are these goals now? And what's the bigger picture that you're building towards?
I think the real bigger picture here is really to build an AI solution for any real estate professional out there to think, okay, I want to either do more with the same time or do the same with less time. If you're a real estate agent with a wife and 2 kids, all you want to do at the end of the day is have the time to come home, have dinner with your family. And if AI can save you these, little percentage of time throughout your day, then it allows you to do this. And if you're a real estate executive who wants to grow their company, but you don't necessarily want to have to invest in new headcount, it takes time, effort, new departments, then you can invest in AI. And at this point, it provides a really good ROI on these investments.
That's incredible. So, in your own business, Sasha, what's still slow or manual for your liking? You're an AI business. What's still slow or manual in your business? Is it educating the market on what real automation is versus shiny tools? Is it scooping and delivering complex builds quickly? Is it your own lead generation and sales pipeline? or is it hiring and scaling, implementation and capacity?
You name it. All of these, we're always working to make them better, of course. I would say right now, the main bottleneck is we're really getting a lot of demand. A lot of real estate executives are reaching out to us saying, I have these problems. Can you solve them? And we have the tech skills and the capabilities to solve them in theory. But when 1,000 of them come at the same time, sometimes we don't have the capacity to handle all of them. So hiring at the moment is one of our biggest priorities. Content creation is doing great. It's a manual process, but it's always a good thing to really know your product enough so that you can talk about it and educate people on the opportunities. So we like for it to stay a little bit of the manual writing time of the day. And then, of course, the go-to market strategy, always adding new pipeline generating, revenue generating, extensions to our content strategies and outbound strategies. It's a process that we enjoy, but it for sure takes some time.
Of course. Let's dive into Next Automation a little bit more. How big is your team?
At the moment, we are five. So two co-founders, me and, as I mentioned previously, my business partner Lucas. And
Lucas.
then we've got automation engineers that we reach out to, but the
Nice.
core team is really focused on growing the company itself. And at this point, as I've mentioned before, the automation skills are not lacking out there. So this is not the hard part. The hard part is really finding the A players that are able to contribute meaningfully to the team itself.
That's amazing. Absolutely. So your team is growing, which is awesome. How do you go about your funnel? Where do you find these commercial real estate? What are you using as far as acquiring new leads?
Totally. So for now, the funnel is really distributed in two main pillars. The first one is inbound. I believe it's the way we came in contact, creating content on social media platforms, mainly LinkedIn, soon YouTube, and launching a community actually of innovators and people interested in AI. This has brought us thousands of leads and more than enough to fill our calendar every week. And then as we expand the team and we expect, to have more capacity to handle these inbound leads, we are also implementing outbound through, as I said before, automated and scalable, but personalized outreach so that these executives at the real estate companies know that we are putting in the efforts to reach out to them. And it's also a testament to the capabilities of our automations. If they receive an email where they feel like somebody did 20 minutes of research on their company and their bottlenecks before sending the email, when actually it was automated. When they realize, that this is what happened, I think for any other company, they would feel a little bit, screwed. But in this case, they're like, okay, the technology is actually this good. We need to implement this. So it's always a good conversation to have as well.
If you made one or two of those areas faster where you have those bottlenecks over the next 90 days, what changes for you? Is it more clients, smoother delivery, more time to focus on raising funds? What would change if you were made those a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I think you're raising a good point here, which is we've been focused on working in the business with my core team, and we're really trying to be able to either automate, of course, but also delegate and orchestrate a real team here of operators so that my co-founder and I are able to work on the business instead of in the business, really liberate more time to talk with investors, strategic partners, big, prop tech platforms and huge real estate brokerages. So we have a lot of stuff in the pipeline and we really just need to be able to extract ourselves from the daily delivery of these automations to clients. I think what really matters to us is the human connection. How many calls are we able to have with these founders? Because the greater mission here is really to educate people on the mission and on the opportunities that AI is bringing right now, but also can bring in the future. And a lot of times when we have a call with a founder or an executive at a real estate company and it's not necessarily the right time or something is preventing them from implementing these systems. They're always happy to join the community, interact. We have tons of free templates for automations on there, tips and tricks, the best ones and guides. So I think creating the community is really the bigger picture here, and that's what we want to maximize. I think at the moment, we're almost reaching maximum capacity in terms of numbers of deals and clients that we can work with every month. And for now, it's around 50 clients that we really are able to service. And we want really the delivery to feel premium and really feel like they are implementing AI, because there's a lot of hype out there, and we want our clients to know that this is actually getting the work done. So getting, the client's number every month from 50 to maybe 100, 200 would be really great. And then in terms of people in the community, we started it really recently. And again, massive traction. Lots of people in real estate are interested in AI. And even if they can't invest or don't have the time, they want to at least be able to keep up. So we've had a couple of hundreds of people join. And I think if we can reach 1,000, perhaps 10,000 by the end of next year, that would be great to have just a place for people to discuss these opportunities.
If nothing else changed in those bottleneck areas for 12 months, what's the cost for you and your clients that you could be serving?
For our clients, it's the cost is really their time, but it's also more than this. It's the fact that their competitors are implementing this today. And we see this a lot when companies come to us and they heard of us because they noticed that their competitors are doing better, more efficient content, or have better funnels, reach out to the leads before them, have better nurturing sequences, and they realize, they don't have the capacity to be doing this manually, so it has to be automated. And when you realize that your competition is automating, you kind of feel like you have to automate as well. So that's really the main point that we always try to bring up is, when you say this is not the right time for you, maybe it is for your competition, and you don't want them to be taking all of these market shares and these leads that could be yours if you had better processes.
For next automation, what is the cost? If you don't get out of the business, if you stop, you can't get running in the business instead of working on the business, right? What is the cost to next automation?
I think the cost is really that we won't be able to grow as much, bring as much market expansion. And as I said, we want to be able to target other specific niches than the ones we are currently in. So the cost will really be a stunt to our growth. And as I said, we're hitting maximum capacity really soon in terms of clients that we can service. Not being able to grow the team and work on the business would mean that we can't really serve all of the real estate professionals who want these automations.
Incredible. Yeah. I agree with you. So definitely scaling your business has got to be a main priority. Fast forward 12 months from now, Sasha, you and I are on another Zoom call, right? And we're high-fiving because it's been a breakout year for Next Automation, right? What would have happened in order to, for us to celebrate, right? In terms of clients, revenue, outcome, your team, or for you to just say, yeah, this year changed everything.
I think one component of this is the recognition from the real estate industry that AI is here and it is here to stay, and they need to implement it. At the moment, all the big banks and real estate brokerages are clamoring that AI will change operations for real estate. But I want to see more articles about AI is changing real estate. And I think if we're able to contribute to this in a meaningful way by growing our own business, but also growing the businesses of our clients, and really have some articles out there saying real estate is an industry where AI is booming and lots of companies are implementing it in an efficient way and getting results from it, that'll be a great milestone and victory for us.
That'd be huge. We'll be high fiving for sure. This has been awesome, Sasha. Before we land this plane, I've got two quick ones for you. If you could give one piece of advice to commercial real estate owners, operators, or capital firms that want to start AI automation but feels overwhelmed, what would you tell them?
I would say don't start with the automation itself. Start with understanding every piece of your process. This is what we always say to people who are trying to get into the field. If you don't understand how your process works end to end, your automations will break at some point.
That's great advice. And I agree with you 100%. Fantastic. So you can actually give us that huge link so everyone listening that wants to connect with you, learn more about Next Automation, or even go through your AI audit, which is really cool on your website. I've been there. What's the best place to find
Absolutely.
you online?
So our website is nextautomation.us, and you can find me and my partner on LinkedIn. My personal LinkedIn is Sasha Deneux, SASHADENEUX. And on there, on my profile, every link is available. I hope to see you there.
Excellent. You want to give that really long link that you have? Was that for your school community?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go to that link. So it's school.com, school with a K, SKOOL.com/next/automations dot hub, and then 9658. Once again, it'll be available on my profile, but if people have the motivation to type out this long link, then they can check it out. We have tons of tips, guides, templates there to get started.
Excellent. And you have a community, right? You're building a whole community there in school?
Yeah, totally. It's for people who are passionate about AI or just want to try it out, about others, and really get started in the most simple way.
I'm definitely joining. Definitely, Sasha. So
I'll see you
if not
there
me, the rest of my community will also. Excellent.
for sure.
Perfect. We'll pull all those links in the show notes down below. Sasha, thanks for pulling back the curtain on how AI is actually powering deal flow for real estate and commercial real estate teams, not just theory. For everyone listening, this has been the AI Edge podcast with Sasha Deneux of Next Automation. If you got value from this conversation, share it with another operator or investor who's serious about building real systems, not just bolting on tools. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you very much.